Hi, and welcome to this episode of Conversations from the Lab, where we cut through marketing and communications clutter and help small and mid sized businesses achieve clarity and gain traction, ultimately to generate more revenue. So sit tight and we'll get into it. Now, today's episode is one of those topics we get asked about constantly, and that is how do I actually build brand awareness if I don't have a big budget? And by big budget, I mean fielding a 50-person marketing department, rolling out national ad buys, or spending 100 grand for a minor brand refresh. If your organization doesn't fall into either of these categories, then you're in the right place. Because here's the thing, building brand awareness isn't about how much you spend, it's about what you do and how well you do it. And yes, small brands can absolutely punch above their weight. So let's get started by defining what we're really talking about when we say brand awareness. Good brand awareness is not about whether your audience has heard of you, it's about whether they easily remember you, especially when unprompted. Do they view you in a positive light? Do they trust you? And do they prefer you when it's time to buy? You see, we're talking about more than just your company's logo or your tagline. It's the emotional recall, the association, and the attributes, good or bad, that your audience assigns to your company, product, or service. If your brand is associated with clear and consistent messaging that assigns or that aligns with your reliability of your company, product, or service, then you're on track. If your brand is associated with unclear and contradictory messaging, in addition to inconsistent experiences with your product or service, then that damages your brand. And here's something important: familiarity, reliability, and consistency builds trust. Trust builds loyalty, and loyalty ultimately builds revenue. Some companies believe that establishing a preferred brand isn't important and that it's really a luxury, but nothing could be further from the truth. Telling the story about your brand is like carving out real estate in someone's mind. Think of your target audience's brain as a real estate opportunity. You can put your stake in the ground and claim your space for yourself or allow your competitors to do it. There are many strategies organizations can incorporate to build brand awareness on a limited budget, but for the purpose of this episode, we're going to look at three of them. First is positioning and differentiation. What do you stand for, and how do you stand out from your competitors? Now, a lot of businesses position themselves very safely, and as a result, they end up not being memorable. In an attempt to establish their brand, they say things like, we're innovative, or we deliver results, or we care about our customers. Unfortunately, this type of positioning will get you lost in the clutter. Your audience doesn't need to hear what makes you acceptable. They need to hear why they should consider you and how you will help them solve their pain points. Well, how do you do that? You start by making an honest assessment of your company and your industry. Is your company extremely reliable, or does it have a reputation of only occasionally delighting your customers? In addition, is your competition eating your lunch every single day, or are there openings in their armor where you can create an advantage? If your audience, and not just your customers, remember, if your audience considers your brand to be unreliable, fix those things as soon as possible and communicate those changes immediately. When communicating those changes, you can do it in a way that positions your company positively against your competitors. For example, if everyone is focused on affordability, maybe your positioning should be about reliability. If everyone else comes across as very corporate and serious, maybe your angle is being relatable and human. The point is not to be loud, it's to be precise and specific in a way that begins to speak to what your audience really wants to hear. Own your lane, and people will remember you for it. The next strategy is creating compelling content that provides value to your audience. Notice I didn't say content that promotes you, because nobody wants to read a blog post called Why Our Software is Great. They want solutions, insights, entertainment, ideally all three, but they really want their pain points addressed. So think of content as your brand's way of being helpful at scale. For example, if you're a professional services firm, write about 3 mistakes companies make when choosing a vendor and how to avoid them. If you're a restaurant, share behind the scenes information on how you prepare your most popular dish and illustrate why your customers find it irresistible. If you're a software as a service company, demo how your product solves an actual pain point in 90 seconds or less. Also, these examples can be shared via a blog, video, or infographic. And while it doesn't have to cost a fortune to create these things, it's important that it's clear, genuine, and valuable. And yes, video does work incredibly well. It humanizes your brand and it gets shared. And according to the data, 90% of marketers say that video content helps increase brand awareness. The third strategy we'll share is social media executed thoughtfully. Social media isn't about checking a box, it's a real valuable tool. And like any tool, it works best when you use it with purpose. First, choose your platforms wisely. If your audience consists of professionals, LinkedIn is your arena. If you're consumer focused, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok should be leveraged. Then be consistent. That doesn't mean posting 17 times a day. It means showing up regularly with content that reinforces your brand positioning. And most importantly, engage, engage, engage. Don't just post into the void. Respond to comments, ask questions, feature your customers, reshare their wins. The algorithm on these platforms love engagement, and so will your audience. And yes, consider boosting your best posts. Social media ads let you target exactly who you want to reach based on region, role, interests, and more. You don't need to spend a fortune, but you do need to be smart. You can test your posts, measure often, and double down on what actually works. And when executing your social media strategy, use helpful and affordable tools such as Hootsuite, Zoho Social, or Buffer. These tools allow you to manage multiple social media platforms, schedule posts, and engage with your audience from a single centralized solution. Now, there are many other strategies to help you build brand awareness without breaking the bank that we could have gone into. And if you're interested in learning more about those, check out our free ebook about how to build brand awareness on a limited budget by clicking the link in the description. Building brand awareness on a limited budget isn't about stretching your team thin or trying to do everything at once. It's about doing the right things intentionally, consistently, and in a way that reflects your brand's greatest value, all while leveraging strategies and tools that are affordable and easily accessible. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of Conversations from the Lab. If you found this information helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel. That way, we can provide more helpful content like this. And we'll see you next time.